Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Charlotte. If you're new here, I do videos on books, beauty, fragrance, and fitness. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching. So today I am doing a fun little video that incorporates fragrance and a little bit of getting to know me. I was tagged by the lovely Claire Smith. If you're into fragrance too, you should go and check out her channel. I'll leave a link down below. So if that sounds like something that could be fun, I'm going to sip my lovely little coffee in my Scorpio cup. Get yourself a coffee or a tea or whatever it is, whatever your beverage of choice is, and let's do this together. Thank you so much for tagging me in this, Claire. This should be really fun to do. I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit in your video. Okay, by the way, my lips are not black. They are purple. Can you tell? Okay, so question number one. Have you been to any perfumery school? No, I have not, but I would love to. I would love to study perfume in more detail, and I would love to actually make my own perfumes one day. So yeah, you know, who knows? Do you consider yourself to be addicted to fragrances? No, I don't consider myself to be addicted to fragrances at all. I have other addictions, and addictions should not be taken lightly. Yeah, fragrance is not an addiction for me. Fragrance is a hobby. Fragrance is a passion. And if anything gets unhealthy, it's more of like a consumption addiction or something, but it's not the fragrance itself, if that makes sense, because it could be anything. I mean, you could say that about addiction too, but what I mean is like it could be like people who are addicted to fragrance, maybe we're addicted to something. I mean, it could be that we can say the same thing about fragrance, right? But anyway, my point is no, I don't consider myself addicted to fragrances. Do I feel like addicted to certain scents? A little bit, like in the sense that like I feel like a compulsive need to return to them, but that's not the same as being addicted, right? Anyway, I'm getting, okay, let's move along. We're at number 2. There's a lot of questions. Okay, so what is your first memory of wearing fragrance? That is so hard for me to find in my head, because the first memory I have of wearing fragrance and like I actually smell it in my head is when I was a teenager with Armani Lay, when I smelled it at my friend's house and I just fell in love with it. But I know I have memories of like, wow, this is gonna be a long one. I have memories of playing around with my mom's perfumes. She had I actually have some of them here. Just a second. Wow, that was really hard to get. These are perfumes that I don't wear. Like, I keep for sentimental reasons, and yeah, they're literally like, this one was bought like in the late 90s, and this one like in 2002 or something. So they're legitimately like vintage old. I still remember when my mom bought this, and it makes me think of her. I wore this as a teenager sometimes, and now I'm just like, what a glam grown-up teenager you were. It was really nice. It's also discontinued, and like people are very sad about that and looking for it, and it's just funny that I have this little amount here that's just I will always keep and cherish. But that is Givenchy Organza, I think. I also have this Rose Hispane fragrance by Yves Rocher that also, this goes way back. Like, it almost just smells like rose and alcohol now. But this reminds me, it's like an oriental. This reminds me of being like, I don't know, like 12 and smelling fragrances. Like, it's like a splash. And this was my mom's. And I don't know if I would have worn it, but I would have opened it and just smelled it like this. Other fragrances too that like remind me of my childhood are definitely like Chanel No. 5. That was on my grandmother's and my mom's counter at times, and also Roger Gallet perfumes or colognes. Yeah, I can't think of something else. I don't know, I just have these like memories with mostly with like the bottles. So like there were like Yves Rocher bottles, I'm gonna put them up here, like they remind me of my childhood, and like some that I would just see in like my aunt's cupboard, like Anaïs, Cacharel, Noah, things like that. Like those remind me of my childhood in a way. What is the first fragrance that you purchased with your own money? This is so boring for me, like, but I think it was Armani Lay. Yeah, because I kind of resisted my love of fragrance for a long time until like my early mid-20s, and that's when I kind of decided, okay, I love it, and that's when I bought my first perfume, and I bought Armani Lay. And yeah. Number 5, what is the oldest fragrance in your collection? Okay, well, I guess I just answered that with these ones. But if I am talking about like the oldest perfume in my collection, oh man, that's hard. Because it's hard because the oldest fragrances in my collection were all bought like at the same time in 2013 or 12. Anyway, this was one of them. I got both the Narciso for her eau de toilette and the eau de parfum, which is in the pink bottle. That one is more rosy, and this one's more musky, osmanthusy. And these are fragrances that at the time I just like didn't know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted something really sophisticated and feminine and sophisticated. And I just looked up reviews on Fragrantica, and I decided that this was the one that was going to be my signature scent, this one and the pink one. And I did wear them a lot, and I liked them a lot. I'm going to consider that to be like the oldest scent in my collection, even though there's a few other ones that like that I bought at the same time as this one. It's just that this is probably like the one that I wore the most at that time. What fragrance can't you stand the smell of? Oh my goodness. That's hard for me because I'm like, it's very rare that I can't stand the smell of something. But I think 2 smells that I have a really hard time with are, and I've already talked about this, but Mancera's Choco Violette is just this very strange combination to me of like powder cocoa with candied violets. It's a little bit nauseating to me. So this is one of the only fragrances I have that's almost like a blind buy fail. I say almost because there's something about it that's interesting to me. I'm still experimenting with it, but I can almost like, it's a scrubber. Like I would maybe have to scrub it off. Like the other one I have is a little sample here by Xerjoff, very expensive niche sample. And this is Cruz del Sur 1. And this one, I just sprayed once on Cure when I first got it. Let's do it again. And I was so appalled. I don't want to waste it in case I want to test it on my skin, but first of all, it's very oily though. Like you can see like the color is right there. Like this would stain your clothes if you put it on your clothes. Like right away I'm just like, yummy, very strong dark green olives. That's what it smells like to me. It's not though. But I swear it smells like it's terpenic. Terpenic, I think is the word to me. With like olives. Definitely wouldn't want to smell like that. Like this is potent. I can't get the green olive scent out of my mind. To me, it's like turpentine and green olives. It's absolutely intense. But sometimes those really appalling scents need to be experienced on the skin with the dry down. and then they come alive, you know what I mean? So I can't judge it based on just a spray on the paper. But it's definitely not a love at first sniff. It's definitely appalling on the cardboard at first sniff. Okay, next question we have. Number 7, what is your favorite food? That's hard because I love food. I love all food. I grew up eating all different kinds of foods. I mean, I come from a family of cooks, and I also come from a family that is very, very well traveled, that lived a little bit all over the world. My grandmother comes from Morocco, and my grandparents lived in Turkey for over 20 years, 25 years. So I grew up eating all kinds of foods. There's too many foods to like think of. I love food. I like all foods. I don't know. Does cheese count? I'm kidding, but it's like an inside joke between my sister and I. We're just like cheese fiends. So basic too, you know? It's like she's like a professional cook. Like there's so many things you can eat, but like cheese. Can you be addicted to cheese? Yeah. I would say yes to cheese over perfume. Okay. Do you prefer sweet or salty or mild or spicy? So I would say sweet and salty. But no, if I had to choose, I'd go for the salty. But sweet and salty, and I would say spicy. Spicy. 9, what was the last fragrance that you purchased? So I believe that the last fragrance I purchased was 7 Virtues Vanilla Woods. And this one, it smells really smoky, caramelly, pear. It's a pear, caramelly, vanilla sort of smelling perfume. But what I noticed with this one was that, like right now I'm not getting it. It smells really lovely, but sometimes when I spray this on my skin, the first initial whiff I get of it is kind of like a cigarette smoke smell, and it's not like in the lovely fresh tobacco sense. It's in the burned ashtray, stale cigarette butts kind of way. And I don't want to purposefully smell like that, obviously. But like right now I don't smell that, you know? But I just think it's worth noting because I haven't heard that anywhere, and it's something that makes me think that this is not a really safe blind buy. If you like vanilla, like you won't necessarily love this. I'm still experimenting and I like it. And I am interested in seeing if as the vanilla ages and gets darker, if it gets better. This is what I bought with like my discount code at Sephora right before New Year's. And I was picking between this one and the Kayali Vanilla 28, and I don't know if I made the right choice, but it doesn't matter because I was like, eventually I'll try Kayali, but this year it's this one. Next question. What are you thinking of buying but you haven't bought yet? What am I not thinking of buying? Because honestly, I have a lot on my wish list, but what am I thinking of buying? I'm thinking of buying Libre Intense. I'm thinking of buying Orchidée Vanille by Van Cleef & Arpels. I'm thinking of buying Amouage Love Tuberose. Not actually because it's $300, but it's a tuberose with a milk note and it's supposed to be the best in the whole world. So does that count? No, it doesn't count because I'm not actually going to buy it anytime soon. What would I potentially buy in the near future that's not actually that near because I'm gonna know by Orchidée Vanille by Van Cleef & Arpels, Mirabelle or something by Vicanto. A few Vicanto ones I was really interested in. There's a Tiziana Tarenti perfume that I really want too. Yeah, some that come up like at the top of my head right away is like Libre Intense. I think I would really like it. Next up we have, what fragrance do you want but think it's too expensive. Baccarat Rouge, all the Amouage fragrances, Xerjoff, those are just like next level pricing to me. Van Cleef and Arpels, Mancera, those are kind of like, those are really expensive for me. So beyond that is just out of reach for me. What is your cheapest perfume and do you like it? My cheapest perfume. So my cheapest perfume is J by Jennifer Aniston. I think it's called J. And as you can see, I actually have a decent dent in here. And actually this dent was created and then I was like freaking out because I was like, wait, no, I really like this and this is just like 1 ounce, I think. But I got this for $9.99, 10 bucks. And it's just a really, really nice, airy, again, salty, beachy fragrance. So I really like it. To me, this is like a salty vanilla. Again, a little bit similar to like the Olympia sort of vibe. Much cheaper, much more affordable. Really delicious, underrated. And yeah, like I don't think I've heard anyone talk about this, but it's really good. Yeah, J by Jennifer Aniston. So good. And the only reason I'm not wearing it right now is because to me this is a summer fragrance, spring and summer. Which fragrance is the most expensive in your collection? I think Mancera's are all probably the most expensive fragrances I own. I feel like Van Cleef and Arpels Bois Doré is probably the most expensive I own. And I think it retails for like $250. So yeah, I think this is the most expensive fragrance I own. It smells expensive too. Very delicious. Does your partner wear fragrance? Do they have one fragrance that they don't like on you? That's 2 questions. Does my partner wear fragrance? Yes, he loves fragrance. He's not obsessed with it like I am and doesn't know like all the notes and everything, but yes, he absolutely loves perfume. Thankfully, like I hear some people who have partners who like never wear perfume and they're always trying to get them to wear perfume so they can smell it on them, because part of the love of perfume is also smelling it on other people. So yes, he wears perfume and I take advantage of that. I buy him perfumes. And do they have one fragrance that they don't like on you? I'm gonna say like 2. One of them is he doesn't really like, and this is like a pretty potent fragrance in this cream, so he always notices when I put this on, even though when I put it on I'm feeling myself usually when I put this on. But I've come to understand that it's not a sexy fragrance for him. But this one, this vanilla and patchouli, he doesn't really like this. It just reminds him of like his hippie spiritual phase, he says, of when he was like a late teen, and it reminds him of like burning incense and stuff, which I'm like, okay, yeah, let's rock with that. And it just reminds him of his boyhood. For me, it just reminds me of yummy, warm, But there you go. He doesn't love that vanilla patchouli, and generally like those spicier, earthy sort of scents, which to be honest, they're not my favorite anyway. But yeah, but he doesn't not like any perfume on me, and he really likes perfumes, and he's very open-minded and sees fragrance the same way I do, as in like it's like a wardrobe. So he likes most perfumes I wear. Yeah, if not all. Is it common, okay, question 15. Is it common for people to wear fragrance in your area pre-pandemic? I mean, I think so, yeah. I mean, yeah, I smell fragrance on people. I don't think people have like a bunch of fragrances, but I think people tend to have like 1 or 2 fragrances that they wear year round. And so yes, people wear fragrances around where I am, yes. 16, tea or coffee? I am definitely a coffee person. Got my coffee right here. I've lived on coffee for most of my life. It's true though. So yeah, definitely coffee. And I'm definitely like a wannabe tea person. Like I want to love tea. I want to be a tea person. I think tea is kind of like understated, elegant. I don't know where that comes from, but I just have this image of tea drinkers and I want to be a tea drinker, but I'm just not it. I'm just not it. I have to force myself to drink tea. I let my tea get cold. I forget it over there in the corner. I have tons of tea at home that is not put to use. So yeah, I'm coffee drinker, wannabe tea drinker. 17. Do you wear fragrances marketed to the opposite sex? Absolutely. I have a few fragrances that I really like. I recently, for Christmas, I got my partner Habit Rouge Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. And surprisingly, when I smelled it, I was like, I want to wear this. And it wasn't his favorite. So things like that can happen sometimes, you know? So yeah, Habit Rouge Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. Very unisex. Very sexy on a woman too. I really like Valentino Uomo. I like Lalique Encre Noire. I really like Burberry Touch for men. Yeah. It's funny because when I was younger, I actually preferred like colognes, and like my uncle would wear a lot of Rocha, and he bought me a full Eau de Rocha perfume when I was in my teens, and I went through the entire bottle, and now when I smell it, I'm like, that is a very potent masculine perfume. But I loved it, and so yeah, yes, absolutely. Oh, another really good scent is Armani for him. Like, there's Lay, and then what's the one for him? I don't know what it's called, but the one for him in the black bottle too. Really delicious. When traveling pre-pandemic, do you take full bottles, decants, or samples? I haven't traveled in a really long time, but the last time I did, I definitely took full bottles, and I would just like stuff them in my shoes. Yeah, like a couple full bottles, and like wrap them in my clothes and put them in my shoes. 19. Do you typically receive compliments on your fragrances? And no, I don't. And the reason for that is because typically, up until more recently, I guess, I'd say like more recently when I'm at home a lot, I do overspray now, but before that I didn't. And so mostly I would just kind of smell the fragrance on myself, or like my partner could smell it. But other than that, like I didn't really wear perfumes in a way that they projected really loudly all around me. So yeah. And then like, it's so funny because sometimes I'll get like a compliment. It's so rare to get a compliment, but like it happened last summer where I was testing out perfumes, and I was like, oh, this is really yummy, and I would smell it. No comment at work, okay? Then another day I'm running late, and I'm like, I just put on a easy breezy perfume. It was Kenzo Amour, and it's not breezy, but what I mean is it was just like, it's not known to be a particularly strong projecting kind of perfume. And I put a spray on, I sprayed that, and I got in the restaurant, like at work, and my coworker, the cook, was like many meters away. I was like, wow, you smell so good. That totally took me by surprise, because like all the other times that I was trying to smell good, no one said anything. And then the one time when I was like, oh, I don't have time, blah, blah, then it was just like, wow, it smells so good. So it's just kind of funny. Yeah, no, I don't usually get compliments. And I think compliments, it's kind of hard, you know, because it's like, you don't know, most people are not gonna like, it can feel invasive to, even if it's paying you a compliment, to say like, oh, what are you wearing? Or, oh, you smell good, depending on the circumstances, right? So yeah. 20. Do you wear fragrances when you are home alone? Absolutely. It's my favorite thing to do. When I am alone at home, I can wear 3 or 4 fragrances in the day. If I'm out and about, I'm probably only gonna wear one, maybe another one in the evening. So yes, when I'm home alone, that is the time when I get to have the most fun with my fragrances. absolutely. I wear fragrances and perfumes for myself for the sensorial sort of experience, which leads us to the last and final question, which is, do you wear fragrances for you or to receive compliments? And I absolutely wear them for me. Now, does that mean I don't want other people to appreciate the scents on me? No, of course not. Compliments are kind of a mixed bag, you know, because especially with fragrance, because even if you get a compliment, sometimes it could be like, oh wait, no, I didn't realize that my scent was being like that, it was projecting so much, right? So sometimes it's like a double-edged sword for me. Like, I don't know that I necessarily want to receive a lot of compliments on the way I smell, because I don't want to be in everyone's noses necessarily either, if that makes sense. Anyway, okay, well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Claire, again, for tagging me. If you are interested in fragrance, I tag you, and I think you should do this too. Yeah, that was fun. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, please take care of yourself. Bye.